Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the King of Anime podcast. It is
Yo.
me and Satsuki. Everything animated here. We are still a duo, not quite a trio, not yet anyway. Epic foreshadowing, maybe.
No, I think that's the norm at this point. Can't bring dead people back to life. That's how things usually work.
I mean, I could rub two sticks together.
Nah, he's finished.
Well, on that note, let's see everyone in the chat here. The Mushoku Tensei animation crew got robbed at the conveni. Someone stole their talent. Definitely something to talk about later in the show, I'm sure. Light Ruler, yo. What is up, Light Ruler? And Decrepit Storm, what up? Hello, Decrepit Storm. Which I should also say and make this shout out right now. Thank you for being our first ever Patreon. That's
yes,
right.
much
Decrepit
appreciation.
Storm.
Thank you, Decrepit.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. Believe me, that it's $1, but once we get enough people going in, and it's going to support this channel quite a bit. It'll help us do a lot more. It'll help us be able to fulfill a whole bunch of dreams that we wish we could have done a long time ago but couldn't. But thanks to you and everyone else that's watching and listening right now, we enjoy y'all listening to us and appreciate any and all of your patronage. So thank you. Oh, well. Oh my god! You have a face.
Wait, my mic was off. I just want to show y'all, I have a face. I'm just lagging, and I don't like this lag. I don't know what the issue is exactly, so I'm trying to fix things as we go along, but I have a face.
Beautiful. So what have you been up to? How's your week been? Anything new and exciting?
New or exciting? I went back to Saturday. I got back into Persona 5 because because I got my setup and my desk and everything. That was the thing that was preventing me from doing that. I got back into that, and I probably had one of my best dreams Saturday. It was pretty fun. A lot of the boys showed up. Yeah, it was a pretty great time.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, so just getting back into that was pretty good. Yesterday was good for me too. I won't divulge any of the bits, but had a good talk with my dad. So on the personal side, things are good too. It's just
that's good.
Only problem that's plaguing me right now is fixing and working technology.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear that, you had a pretty good weekend and chill and whatnot. When it comes to me, I live in the great state of Arizona, and we've been under this fucking heat wave for weeks now, and I swear it got so ridiculously hot. I kid you not. This past weekend, me and my girlfriend and my son were out and about doing stuff, and I went to turn my battery, and it did that struggling. I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna need a new battery. I'm gonna need a new battery because the sun literally sapped it away, and I honestly can't remember when I last got a battery. So I was like, yep, I'm in need of a battery. So I went over to O'Reilly's, got a battery, and I'm all good now. So for the remainder of the week, I'm not going outside. I refuse. When I got into my car and it was struggling, it was the thermometer in my car said it was 120.
Jesus.
I know. So I said to myself, I don't think I'm going out anytime soon. And if I do, it's only when the sun is down or if it's bright and early in the morning. Other than that, I ain't leaving. It's the fact that people can live here, and I've lived here my whole life, but I swear to you, this is probably going to either this or the next summer is going to be my last summer here in Arizona. I'm done.
It sounds like hell itself. 120. I sometimes I think we have it bad in Florida, but what's bad about it isn't necessarily the heat, but the wishy-washy weather and the shady people. But
yeah, and yours is a different type of heat too. Yours is a wet, sticky, humid. Ours is a dry. You feel like the feeling when you open an oven and then the oven just goes right up in your face. Mm-hmm. That's how it is constantly when you go outside. It's just so awful in the summer. The winter's beautiful, but July, August in Arizona is, I would honestly say, some of the worst. I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I may have figured something out. Let me see if this works.
You're gonna fix the sun?
Oh,
is that what you figured
the sun?
out?
I'll do that another week. I'll try that another week.
Well, while you're figuring out what's going on over there, let me catch up.
Well,
okay?
I'm covering up the entire screen with Kit. You can't see it right now because you're not watching the stream, but I just covered the entire screen with my face. I just jump scared a whole bunch of people.
Let me take a look, or let me catch up on this chat here. A Vladilena VTuber model could bring the boys to the yard, maybe. Oh, I see the delay. I just saw your face. It really was a jump scare.
No, it doesn't quite work. I think it's even more laggier. That's impressive. Well,
make this happen. QRW6, what up, KOA? Hope all is good with y'all. Shout out to my boy, I know Ariel. A friend of mine found out his girl was cheating. Can't say much. Well, I definitely can't. That sucks to hear that. Cheating's bad. Don't cheat, people.
We don't like cheaters. They accused me of cheating Saturday.
Oh, for a different kind of cheating.
Well,
not a platonic romantic kind of cheating, but more of a basketball type, maybe?
No. They were talking about like the romantic type of cheating, but it was all false. It was all false accusations. People just throwing mud at the wall, hoping that it sticks. I put on my suit and tie, and I took them to court, won a case. They tried to defame me.
They caught a case too, right?
Yeah, case of the beats.
Oh no. Decrepit Storm, seems like the world is burning up right now. It's fucking hot, I swear to God. My area has been raining in and out. Bring that rain over here, Kiro W6, please. Philip, Al, Least, Make, Mead has bounced back. Oh, I think that's supposed to be at least Lake Mead has bounced back. It was looking scary for the 4 states around for a while. Yeah, Lake Mead was... They had like some areas where it was just really... I think it's the same lake, where there's a picture of a boat and it's like sticking straight up out of this, what used to be a lake, and it's like dried up. It looks pretty cool when you look at it, but also kind of depressing at the same time. The Grabber Storm says Sasuke has taken over. We are finding new and innovative ways to lag.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like a... Did you see Spy Kids when George Lopez was the villain or whatever? He was like this electro villain.
Yeah, a long time ago.
That's how I look like
one time.
That's how I look like when I put myself on screen, and I'm probably having like the same CGI laggy, bulky type of thing.
Right? Wasn't that the one in 3D?
Was it 3D?
I think they made like a huge emphasis of the 3D thing, and it was like everything was just like, oh, 3D. remember those movies back then where everything, like, they just discovered 3D, like Avatar did really good, then everybody was like, we're gonna be 3D too.
Yeah, they just gotta put, here, have this in your face. I'm shoving this in your face. It's not even like 3D worthy.
I mean, I remember I mean, I wasn't around at the time, but there was definitely like were those old school 3D goggles where one was blue, one was red. Like that looked like shit, and yet they purposely did like a paddle ball in people's face, and they would do all that kind of like ridiculous stuff. I'm just like, I don't know how they could have got away with it. It looks good now, but I don't know. 3D is okay.
I feel
it's not my favorite.
I feel like it's more of an aesthetic thing than anything. Just to say, like, I went to the theaters and saw this in 3D, and then of course the 3D glasses just look cool as hell.
Yeah, because then when you take it home and you watch stuff that isn't 3D, it just kind of looks, I don't know, kind of looks cheap in a way. And what I mean by that is if you don't have your 3D goggles, you don't have anything like that, and you just see constant things going at you, you're like, who filmed this? A third grader?
Yeah, you can clearly tell where things are supposed to be 3D, and it just doesn't translate well when it's standard, you know. I think I watched. No, I did. I forgot which Final Destination it was, but I seen one of my one Final Destination. It probably was the last one. I seen that in 3D with my dad.
Yeah. I bet that was cool. I stopped watching Final Destination after the third one, the one with the roller coaster.
Yeah, that's the third one.
And I just, I don't know. That probably would be cool just to see like exploding body parts in 3D and stuff like that. They made a Saw 3D. I remember that. Yeah.
Well, with the Final Destination movies, did they get too ridiculous for you, or you were just not really like a horror guy?
No. I'm a fan of horror. I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan of horror. Like, I love good horror. I just feel like horror now is hit or miss. You know, everything relies on jump scares. Horror movies are mostly remakes nowadays. But every once in a while, you'll get a good horror movie. And when you do, it's like really depressing and fucked up. You know, it's one of those you'd watch once, but then you'll never watch again. The last really good horror movie I saw was The Lighthouse. If you ain't never seen that one, that's one of those watch it one time and never see again. It's really like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of like video essays about it, and you know, I love watching video essays on stuff I've never watched before. But yeah, from what I got from that movie, it's a very mind fuck type of series, and
it really is.
It leaves a lot to your interpretation. From what someone described to me, it's like whatever your first takeaway from it is what you should think about the movie, because a lot of people have different takeaways from it, like vastly different.
Yeah, and I liked it. It's good, but I don't know. If I was to say the horror movies I like, obviously it's the stuff from the 80s and 90s, you know, the old school Freddy's and the Jason, Texas Chainsaw, The Thing. Like, those are just, to me, they're so interesting to talk about and watch, just because all that stuff is practical, and you know, it just, I don't know, they took their time to make you scared, and just the work on the gore and stuff is just like, wow, that's incredible. Everything's CG now, you know, when it comes to horror movies. So it's, to me, it takes you out of it and it's not as scary. But every once in a while they'll do something good, like The Lighthouse, or what's another really good horror movie I saw? It's not really a horror movie, but it's kind of like action/horror. It's
like a thriller.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's like a futuristic type. It's made by a guy who used to do horror. That's why the gore and special effects are really good. But it's called Upgrade. That one's really fun. I feel like not a lot of people have seen that one. But I feel like we're rambling now.
Anime, who needs it?
Yeah, let's not talk about anime. Let me just catch up really quick, and then I guess we can get into that. Give us some sun, EA. We'll get you over some rain. Deal, Decrepit. You gave me that $1. It's the least I can do. Son, go to Decrepit Storm.
Burn them alive. Burn them all.
So, burn them all. Okay, Mad King. I feel like I wasn't smart enough to get The Lighthouse. Can we get Scarlet Disaster? You know what? To me, The Lighthouse isn't too crazy to like. It's not as bad as Sunny Boy, believe it or not. Because to me, The Lighthouse, I think you can follow it for the most part. I think it's the ending is the thing that leaves it up to interpretation, where you're just like, what it is. But Sunny Boy, from the beginning to end, I didn't know a single fucking thing that was going on. So I couldn't tell you. I'm liking Dark Gathering for horror anime. Yeah, I don't think I've heard of that one. Have you heard of that one, Satsuki?
Dark Gathering, never. Well, yeah. I mean, are there any horror anime that you like? I feel like there's a scarcity of that.
Well, the one, Higurashi, that one's pretty good. The first season, well, the first 2 seasons. Nothing after that, because I feel like it turns into a joke after a while. But the first 2 seasons are really good. There's a couple with vampires that are pretty good, but I feel like there needs to be some really good horror anime for that. Like, it needs a revamp, because I can't even name or even think of the last horror anime that I've seen where it's just straight up just terrifying.
For me, I always felt like the medium of anime wasn't quite right for horror. I think it even works better in manga than it does in anime. That's just me personally. But then again, I haven't really tried that many horror anime, so
yeah, I'd have to look back at some of, like, because there's zombie ones that are fun, but to me they're not really. They have horror elements, but they're fun. To me, zombie movies are fun. Every once in a while, there's a zombie movie that fucks you up, like Train to Busan. It's a South Korean film. Oh, I never thought a zombie film would ever make me cry, but that one did. South Korea's on another level, though, when it comes to making their horror movies, though.
Yeah. Webtoons, too. Some webtoons you gotta try. Actually, there's probably some good horror webtoons that you may like.
All right. I'll definitely have to give them a try.
I think Bastard is one popular series. I don't know if it's horror exactly, but yeah, I think that's a pretty popular webtoon you might be interested in. I never watched it or read it myself. I think C has, though.
Okay. I think is it an anime on Netflix called Bastard?
Maybe.
Is it the same thing?
Maybe. But I wouldn't do any webtoon adaptations, honestly. That's never a good ladder to try to climb, because we got Tower of God from that, and what was that? God of High School. Yeah. Light Ruler chimes in by saying Koreans are killing it on the Pornhwa section as well. We wouldn't be knowledgeable about that, because we here are good Christian boys that have never done the sex. We have never looked at the sex. Yeah. We don't know anything about that.
I mean, who knows? Who knows? I mean, maybe that's true, but I'm assuming Pornhwa is a different type of series.
It's
probably one that I don't really watch.
Basically smut webtoons. That's what it is.
Okay, yeah, I don't watch that then. That is for sure.
On a serious note, I've read a couple of those, and what you'll see with Pornhwa is, with the MC specifically, they go in one or two directions. They have one or two starts. Directions is right. Either they'll start off wimpy, usually all the time. They start off really wimpy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And either their destination is just like normal guy with a harem, normal guy, or complete Andrew Tate red pill asshole.
Oh my God.
Borderline sexual assaulter. That's what they are. This like this like the only two directions they go in. And it's awful.
It's funny because like this was back when I was getting into anime. I don't do so as much anymore when it comes to this. I don't know what I was thinking whenever I was doing so, but it's on the talk of porn noir, whatever. I was watching some hentai thinking that I would get some good story and development. And it's stupid because I would like watch through it and everything, and I would like skip through all the sex stuff, and I would just like go to like the character building and everything like that, and I'm just like, is this gonna get any better? And then I thought to myself, of course it's not gonna get better. Why are you watching this? And the only reason I did that was to say or to see if there would be one that would be unique in a way to where I could say, that hentai was very interesting. But I always stayed away from the tentacle one. I just kept with what was in realism, because that's way too much. I think that happened to me one time, and I was just like, what the fuck is this? Never again.
The people who watch hentai anime are a different type of breed because it is never appealed to me, and I'm not. The reason I say that is because the animation is always horrible. It's the same motions over and over, and then a lot of times it sneaks into my mind. I'm thinking a voice actor had to actually voice these lines. This is so awkward.
Yeah. Like they do that shit. And there's people just like with headphones that are going, okay, could you give that to me just one more time?
It's a little slower.
All right, could you do that, but with a little more grunt?
It's crazy to say, but I think porn is less awkward than voicing hentai because in porn, at least you're in the action. Of course, it's not real because a lot of them are, faking it and, doing things that the director or cameraman are telling them to do. But I think I can have I could dispel my disbelief with that. Suspend my disbelief with porn. Hentai I can't because I know for sure you're not actually you're not making those slurping noises volunteer because you're actually doing the action.
Right. It's just so incredible just to think that is something that some people could just do on command. It's like, oh yeah, you want that? I'll give it to you. A couple of times. It's like, I don't know. I don't think I could do it. Like if I was a director or producer.
One cream pie climax. I have it all on command.
Right. It's like, oh, you want BJ's too? I got that. As a director, I'd probably I couldn't look at the person. I'd have to turn around. I'd be like, okay, could you do that again? And then you look at them, it's like, oh God, they're still doing it.
I would hate if someone were to give their heart out in a performance like that, and then they like, I don't know, there's like some technical issue, like, oh, the mic cut out. Can you climax again?
Yeah, it's like, that was a really good take, but we were picking something up in the background, like a little hiss. Could you do it again? Oh, that would just be awful. I couldn't do it.
Oh man. But
hello, Master Jazz. Welcome in.
What is good, Master Jazz? We got about 24 minutes into this talking about nothing, so I think we should talk about our first show, which is
but hentai Sasuke.
Yeah, I know everybody's interested in the hentai. But we'll talk about a different type of porn, the good porn of Gojo, because everybody loves Gojo.
Oh my gosh.
A series that has been deprived of the main podcast of KOA. Jujutsu Kaisen season 2.
Oh my god. So you're finally caught up?
Yes, I am.
I never thought I'd see the day.
We talked a little bit about my feelings of Jujutsu Kaisen and whatnot. It's just that I didn't watch. Wait, was it that I didn't finish it last podcast, or
Yeah, you didn't finish it. You made it up to
Oh,
the point where they started doing the classroom fighting stuff.
okay. So I guess I'll give my opinion on like JJK as a whole. So, I just want to say I don't love JJK. I really like it though, which is good. I would give it like an 8 out of 10. Um,
Oh, you don't like it, but that's pretty high regards though. 8 out of 10.
yeah, love for me is 9 and above. So my standard for love is very high. But I really like it. I think I think I already told you, or I had you guess some of my favorite characters, but I'll just list them off again. My favorite character is Sukuna. My second favorite character is, sometimes it shifts. In my mind, I'm just going to say Brodo, which that's my affectionate nickname for Toto. Third, Nanami. Okay. Fourth, Maki. And fifth, Nobara. I don't know if I had the same list as last week, but that's my list.
Pretty much. You said Sukuna was definitely your favorite, and Toto was up there too. So definitely. But now you're talking about Nobara.
I love.
Isn't she great?
I'm going to talk about Nobara, but I love Brodo. The boogie whoop.
the broship between him and what's the main character's name?
Yuji.
My best friend. Why?
My best friend.
I still love how he just created that whole thing in his mind that he was his best friend for years. I'm gonna ask out this girl. Did you get rejected? Come on, let's go get some ramen. Just all in his mind.
All from him saying he likes big asses. That's where their friendship started,
with big asses.
Yeah, he just had this thing in his mind where he was like, finally, there's somebody who isn't a complete prude in this school. Everybody gives me basic answer. I like nice girls. I like girls with pretty smile.
Goes a long way.
Yeah, you just have this ball of lust. Yuji, I like Jennifer Lawrence types, big asses, titties, hanging, you know. And Toto's just like, he finally found his one. I loved it.
And he was crying tears of joy. It's just like, and you never lost in your hometown.
He finally found what he was looking for. That was a hilarious moment. I think the comedy in JJK overall doesn't hit for me that much, but whenever they do Toto scenes, it is comedy gold. It is.
Yeah.
It is. He is a hilarious character, and he's a smart character too. His fighting style, using Boogie Woogie, funny name too, by the way. But the way he used it as kind of like this pump fake maneuver where he lets his enemies know of the clap to activate his technique, and he can kind of use it as a false alarm. Super smart guy. I think one of my favorite moments in that fight, other than him doing the fake out, was when he noticed how Megumin got hit by one of the buds that was sucking his curse energy.
Yeah.
In the middle of the fight, when Hanami, I think that was the character's name that they were fighting, when Hanami shoots the buds, originally he uses his curse energy to defend himself against the cursed buds. But in a split second, in his mind, he goes and he has like this whole thing with the idol girl he loves that is him basically thinking over, wait a minute, when Megumin had this bud in it or whatever, it was bigger than what's originally being shot at me. Why is that? It can't be because it sucked his blood. It's probably because it sucked his curse energy. So in point, because they did it like in 0.01 seconds, he halted all his curse energy, which protected him from the buds. If he didn't do that, the buds would have completely like eviscerated him. In that split second, he was able to take a glance from Megumin and apply it to the battle itself, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Brodo is my boy.
Yeah, he's pretty great. Pretty great. and not bad at. Oh wait, no, yeah, he is bad at baseball too.
No, they hate on him on baseball. His actual team was hating on him during that game.
Oh, that's right. Didn't they throw a ball at his face too?
Yeah, they walked him basically.
Yeah.
But
take your base. Oh.
But as for Nobara Nation, because Nobara was actually a character that she was a character that got me interested in JJK initially. Just because I seen some of the screenshots of the last episode of where she had like the rose tattoo curse thing on her.
They're coming down and everything.
Yeah, so she just looked like an interesting character to me, and she looked super insane. So that got me interested in JJK initially. But of course, I had my whole thing when I wasn't watching it. But once I actually got to the episode, well, I guess I'll say my feelings on Nobara, but previously to that episode, I thought Nobara Nation wasn't. I was like, this isn't a nation. Before I watched the episode, I said, this isn't a nation. Y'all gotta change this name to a city or a county or an apartment or a room, because Nobara Nation looked weak as hell. Because I wasn't really feeling her fight with Momo, and she didn't really have too many moments before then. She had a couple, but it was really spotty. But that, when I say that last fight saved her legacy for me, I was so impressed. I really love when people change the rules of fights to where she's overmatched with these two brothers, and she basically what is a battle of attrition becomes this like pain Olympics because of her ability, where she goes, when she's cursed by their techniques, she goes, "Oh, I'm going to die already? All right, let's see if y'all can handle this voodoo technique, and we'll see who taps out." Changes the entire trajectory of the fight by changing the rules of the game. Because then you had one of the brothers, because the tougher brother was able to handle it. The other brother could not handle it. He couldn't handle it. And she used the other brother, the stronger brother's love for the weaker brother to kill him eventually. But that, like, no hesitation into going into the pain Olympics and hammering herself just to get the W. The ruthlessness in the fight, the aftermath, her talk with Yuji, Nobara impressed me a lot. So I wasn't sold on her character before that episode, but after that episode, I was like, okay, I love Nobara.
All right. Welcome to the nation. Here's your membership.
Thank you.
All expense paid.
I'm looking at it like Charlie in the chocolate factory.
Yeah, got that golden ticket.
I gotta dance like the grandpa, but I don't remember how he danced. He just got out, a bedridden guy. Somebody made a video on that, by the way, about how much of that guy was an asshole.
Oh yeah,
but yeah,
there's a whole group, like multiple groups dedicated to just hating on that man.
Rightfully so, because I don't think a bedridden guy with all the issues he had should have been dancing like that. And I understand adrenaline, dopamines, all the scientific words. No, there's no way you're dancing like that. Yeah, that guy was a liar.
Yeah, Grandpa Joe is he's not a good person. And he got freaking Charlie in trouble with a couple of things, like, oh, these are fizzy lifting drinks, maybe we shouldn't drink it. Ah, fuck Willy Wonka, let's drink them. I love the analysis on how people hate him.
No, yeah, that video was great. I might watch it again. But Jujutsu Kaisen season 2. I didn't even put the episode number in there yet. I mean, season 2, I'll just put S2 because that's really big. Season 2.
Yeah.
Episodes 1.
Like 1 and 2.
And 2. So how did you feel about the first episode, if you remember it?
Uh so from what I remember from the beginning is that this particular arc is it's a prequel essentially. It's about Gojo and the guy who eventually became evil, how they were still friends, how they were still Jujutsu Kaisen sorcerers in high school. You have some of the ladies that are in there too as well.
Well, wait, quick question, EA, because I haven't watched it yet. What was Jujutsu Kaisen 0 about? What characters did it focus on?
To be honest, it didn't focus on the main three, Yuji, Nobara, and Megumi. Like, they were not even in it. Like, it was focused around some other character that we never even saw. He was just only in 0, and like he cursed I guess his like love or girlfriend. She became a monster that followed him or something. But
it might have been Yuta. It might have been Yuta.
I think that was, you know what? I think that's his name. That's how I got confused. But yeah, that's 0. It's supposed to be I'm guessing, and people in the comments chat, please tell me. I think it's after this arc that we're currently on and before the beginning of the series. So it's like in between. That's what 0 is.
Oh, I got it right. It was Yuta.
Okay. But yeah, you have Gojo, you have the other dude, you have all the other sorcerers and whatnot. So you have Maki, Panda, and the guy that barely talks were like the main 3 this time with Yuta. That's who they were.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that Jujutsu Kaisen 0 didn't have any bearing on these 2 episodes as far as what I would need to know. So it seems like it doesn't really. So
no, I don't think it has yet. I don't think it has yet. But as far as I know, this is a prequel after both the prequel 0 and the current series and whatnot. So yeah, that's basically what I know, is that because they said at the very beginning, the events that happened all those years ago led to what was coming. So I'm guessing they have to tell the story of what this arc is about before we get into the next series, which is going to basically kind of go hand in hand. It's like, this is what happened, so now this is what's going to happen. That's what I got from it. So it's like a little prequel showing the lead up to the next series. So that's interesting, because it's weird because everything seems so wholesome and so innocent right now, and because everybody's in high school and doing we're fun, but it's
they were playing basketball in episode 2.
Yeah,
and that was a goaltend, by the way, Ghetto. That was a goaltend. When he blocked the ball, that was not a block. That was a goaltend. The ball was on the ways down. You don't know how to play basketball. Right. I don't know how they play basketball in Japan or whatever the fuck you are, but that's a goaltend. You bastard. Just because you're a villain don't mean you can goaltend.
Point goes to the other team. Exactly. Jujutsu 0 was what JJK was supposed to be, but the author didn't have faith in Yuta being the main character, so he put Yuji in place of the main character. Huh. Well, that's what 0 is. I had no idea. But yeah, that's essentially what it is. What was I saying? Yeah, it's essentially just interesting just to see. It's like a calm before the storm type of thing. It's like, how did this guy get to be so evil? And Gojo, he's such an arrogant little guy, little teenager, angsty. I mean, I know he's a weirdo in the series already. That's his character. Yeah. But he's like, yeah, whatever. Like, he barely listens to teachers, and he kind of like does what he wants. And the guy who's the villain is the one that's like, come on, Gojo, you shouldn't be like that. It's just like an interesting kind of dynamic, because it's like, what he ends up being later on. So
I feel like, and I don't know this for sure. I don't know any spoilers, at least for what I'm talking about. I do know some JJK spoilers, but it's not for this thing specifically. But from what it seems like, Geto isn't Geto. The Geto that you see in these 2 episodes, how he is, that's not the Geto that we know as far as the villainous guy that's trying to seal Gojo. You see there's a scar across his face. You see there's scars all around Mahitu. Something happened to him. I think they referenced something as to the principal, and even Gojo himself referenced some failure that happened that we haven't seen. I think something happened to where a curse was able to kind of like take over his body, a la Sukuna with Yuji. Because I don't think Geto changed himself as a human. I think he changed as a curse or something to that effect.
You think maybe he absorbed some kind of spirit that didn't sit too well with him, and he's like, "Oh, indigestion," and then he just became whatever he is now?
That's a good theory. That's a good theory.
Because that's all he does. He's like, I fight, I eat, I absorb a spirit, da da da. So I'm thinking he absorbed a spirit too many, and one of those spirits just so happened to be maybe related to our main villain, Sukuna. That's my guess.
Yeah. I don't know what curse would be strong enough to see. Yeah, we'll probably see it in this flashback, how Geto became Geto, or the Geto that we knew in the beginning of the series. But,
also,
go ahead.
I was just saying, that one character where all he does is gamble, and he's got a little scar right there. Do we know who he is?
Yes, that's Megumi's dad.
Okay. So was he in the original?
He said the reason I know it's Megumi's dad is because he said they never explicitly said this is Megumi's dad, but he said something about the Zanin family, about changing his name from Zanin to whatever Megumi's last name is, I believe, because that's his mother's last name. Because we learned about Megumi's past a little bit with the Zanin family, and we knew that his father was a descendant from that clan, and his mother was, just somebody else. So that guy that we seen with the tight ass shirt was Megumi's dad. I think. Okay.
Yeah, because they were showing him off like it was somebody that I knew. I'm like, I don't think I know this person. But then again, I'm bad with remembering characters anyway. But yeah, he's definitely gonna become an important factor too. It looks like he's a dick.
Yeah,
he just knocks people over when they're carrying their ramen and shit.
He's definitely Megumi's dad, because I'm just remembering. Was it episode 2? He wanted the guy, his handler, whatever, asked him. He asked him about Megumi, and then he goes, "Megumi who? I'm a bad anime father. I wouldn't know anything about my son." So yeah, he's Megumi's dad.
Why are all the dads in shonen or anime in general, I should say, just assholes?
Either they're assholes or they're God's gift to Earth, or dead.
Right. Why can't we just, you know what? And I know we've had this discussion many a times. Why can't we just have a dad that's just okay?
Yeah, like a normal dad. Dad that's, that comes home after work, but isn't necessarily a saint.
You remember those like stereotypical fathers from, I don't know, like Leave It to Beaver's dad, where he just got like a corncob pipe and he has like this newspaper and he goes, what a beautiful day. Why can't we have a dad like that in anime?
I'm not that old. I'm not talking about the show. I'm just talking about like where like you would watch like the nuclear 80s, 90s families. I'm not exactly that old, but I used to watch a lot of Married with Children. And when I tell you that family was so toxic, that's the type of dad that's kind of in the middle, where it's like he does a lot for the family. He does a lot of providing. He does a lot of, caring for the family. But he has a lot of asshole tendencies to him. That's
Oh
kind
my
of like in the
gosh.
middle of dads.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, they. Oh my god, that show. I love that show. It's so damn funny. They could never get away with it now. With all the stuff he would say to all of
Oh,
the people that would come in, they'll be
the fat
trying on
girls,
shoes.
the fat
Yeah.
girls. Yeah,
And the
no.
stuff that he would say to them. All that shit was so funny, but you know, they were supposed to be jokes, not something to be taken serious. But you know, you
Yeah,
couldn't do
I
that
mean,
now.
it was a lot of fat jokes, blonde jokes, sexist jokes.
Oh, your mother jokes.
Yeah,
How
that
many?
too.
I swear, all the you mother jokes. Just your mother's so fat. That's a double. You know, a fat and a mom joke. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But yeah, so right now we're just into the whole prequel story of, I guess, well, it's all about these characters right now that are high schoolers right now, and we're introduced to this girl that people are after now. That girl with the little headband and everything.
Well,
I don't know who that is.
well, before even that, with the first episode, it kind of threw me for a loop because the first episode, the first 6 minutes or so of it was nothing. It was this is the episode where we have Mei Mei and who we found out to be Utahime. It was basically like Mappa showing off this crazy ass art direction because they had so many I'm talking about the scene where they're in like this house or whatever where they're trapped, like in this mansion. It was, the art direction was so great. The different angles they use. Yeah, I felt like I was watching a cutscene in a like a good ass video game, like a PS4 video game. It was so great. But I looked at it like I'm 6 minutes into it. And I'm like, nothing's actually happening though. What are we doing? Right. But it was, I mean,
Mappa. I was gonna say Mappa is just going hard on freaking Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah,
like
this is
they're making it look like this definitely is their baby. The first season you could definitely tell. This season, first episode, 6 minutes into it, you're like, okay, you've already surpassed the first season with that. What else are you gonna do now?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
But I didn't even realize that was Otahime originally. I don't know if you knew that was Otahime, but I didn't recognize her.
Without the scars, no.
Yeah, I didn't recognize her.
You couldn't. I knew the green hair girl. It was her, obviously. The one with the short hair. It took me a minute to realize it was the one with the bags under her eyes because she looks like she has sleep when she's younger. You know, she doesn't look.
I recognized it. I recognized it because of the beauty mark. The beauty mark made me go, "Oh, that's you. That's you, Shoko."
Okay. I guess I should have known that, but definitely not because she doesn't look anything like that. But then, like, she's all grown up. She's got like scar right across her nose and face, and it's everywhere. It's like, damn, what happened to her? And I'm sure we're gonna find out.
Honestly speaking, this is not a fetish, guys. Ignore my love for Bella Leka. The scar, it makes her look more attractive.
Oh.
I don't know why.
Okay.
Maybe it's because it makes her look a lot more distinct from other characters. Because you usually don't see female characters with scars like that. Maybe that's what it is. For me personally, but yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, to be honest, you'll see it on guys all the time, and it just makes them look badass, whether it be across the face, you know, right across anywhere. But to see a woman have a scar across her face, that's one of those, she must be a badass type moments.
Well, I'll ask the chat. Otahime with a scar or without a scar? I'm not asking you to think about her as because I think these characters are 16 because they're still in high school. I'm not asking you to think about her in high school. Just imagine her as an adult without the scar. With scar or without a scar? Because I think I'm taking the scar. Taking a scar, me personally. But besides that, because Utahime comes up with the plan to for her, and I call her Money Meme Weather because she's all about her money. They
Yeah.
run in different directions
She's all
to break the
green.
curse. Yeah. So yeah, they do that. They break the curse or whatever. Antics with Gojo, antics with Geto, and Megumin has this funny line where she talks about, because they were in that world for like 2 days because there was a distortion in time, and she's like, oh, we've been here for 2 days. Well, looks like I had to up the rate with what I was getting before. Looks like there's got to be added fees onto what I was being paid before, which was pretty funny. But yeah, you're just seeing the base of these characters as far as why they interact with each other in the future. Because Otahime is a person that's very like antagonistic towards Gojo. Like anytime Gojo does something, Otahime is on his ass. You're kind of seeing that bleed through with this episode.
Yeah.
Or why it happens.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting.
Yeah. It's so far we're in the interesting, I guess, like couple episodes. It's just more what's gonna happen now. Yeah, I kind of like how they're doing it this way, because I know there's some animes. Bleach is a huge offender of this, where they'll have one arc and then they'll do another where it's like, oh, we got to go in the past and do this whole thing. But Bleach, I swear, they just do it whenever they feel like it. Jujutsu Kaisen they're at least setting it up for what happened here is what's going to transpire to what happens next. So it definitely has me interested to see what's going to happen. And yeah, so far it's wholesome, it's sweet, it's nice. People are eating dumplings and squid balls and all that good stuff. Or no, not squid, it's octopus.
Otahime has
whatever it's called.
Yeah. Otahime has some of the best meme faces, at least from that whole like haunted mansion scene we got of her and Mei. Which also to bring up the point, how old is Mei? She has to be like in her 40s or late 30s, I believe, because if this is a flashback that transpired 12 years ago and she's an adult now, I'm guessing that she would be in her she would be 24, 26, or like 24 to 30. That's the age range I would give her in this flashback. So present time, I would probably say she's like 38 to 42. That's the age range I'm getting for her.
She looks good. It's the hair. She hides it in front of her face so you don't get to see the wrinkles.
Listen, any version of Mei, I'm taking down. Old Mei, she's getting put through the mattress. Current Mei, she's getting put through the mattress. I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Well, there you have it, folks. Sasuke through the mattress approval.
For sure, without question. All due respect, of course.
Oh, right. All due respect. We respect all kinds of people here on KOA, men, women alike.
Yeah. But the first episode was just establishing the factions involved with trying to, because we didn't really talk about that. You talked about a little, EA. But this girl that I think she's in middle school. This girl that's supposed to be the vessel for the big guy. I don't know his name. But he's the guy that keeps up the barrier. Super important. That's all you really need to know. She's supposed to be the vessel for him. He's supposed to basically extract her life so he can prolong his life and whatnot. And they had to protect her from these two factions. One faction which was the one they were worried about, which had the sorcerers. They beat handily. Gojo beat the strongest guy, and Geto beat one of the guys. They beat that faction. But the other faction, which they weren't worried about initially, I think ended up hiring God damn, did they give us his name? Megumi's dad. I don't know if they gave us his name actually.
I don't think so. He's just Dickhead.
Yeah, Dickhead.
Or apparently Tengen.
Tengen? That was his name? Okay, Tengen.
I see a lot of Tengen in here.
Okay, so Tengen.
We respect all kinds of mattresses.
What's his name, Tengen, or was that the old guy that we were referencing?
I honestly don't know, but Philip says, "Hello, boys. Let's get the homies' likes up so that they can show us the extra face reveals."
The extra? Do you think I have another face like Sukuna or something?
They must be talking about our other camera. You know, the one that goes a little lower.
Oh.
You gonna show them too much?
Yeah, you didn't pay enough. You didn't subscribe to the Patreon. Nope. Nope. Oh, his name is Toji.
Toji. Well, let's start with the T. There you go.
Okay, so Tengen is the old guy that we're talking. Okay, so Toji. So yeah, they hired this guy Toji, who is known as the Sorcerer Killer. He doesn't sound like a guy to be trifled with, so I'm sure he's going to give especially Geto issues and maybe Gojo issues, because what we saw from Gojo, we're skipping ahead to the second episode, kind of bleeding things in. What we see from Gojo is that, of course, because this is high school, he's not as polished as we see him now. He still has the limitless void and whatnot, and he's able to repel attacks and slow down things, but he doesn't have the red, and he doesn't have the blue, he doesn't have the purple, he doesn't have the colors. So he's not as strong as he is current day. I think Toji was asked as much as far as Gojo's the strongest sorcerer even now. Do you think you can win? He never answered it. Considering how much focus is put on him, even if he doesn't win, he's going to give Gojo and Geto problems.
Yeah, I believe it. I think I thought it was funny too how when Gojo was fighting that guy that cloned himself into a million clones, he was about to just totally blow that guy away, and he was like, "I messed up."
Yeah, he didn't have the red technique down pat, so yeah, that was one of the big things.
He was trying to show off. He's just like, "Oop, messed up." The ladies love Gojo, man. I only know this because of what I see on the internet, and when I saw Jujutsu Kaisen 0 in the theaters with my son, whenever he got on screen, all I saw was a bunch of teenage girls just going, "Oh." Yeah, just like that. Just, "Oh, it's Gojo.
Gojo-sama.
Oh, speaking of that, the teacher hit on him.
The teacher is an issue. We don't we call our characters for this all the time. She should have been called out. She's talking about a 16-year-old Gojo at this time. I think he's 16.
Something like that.
And she's giving him his number. What? Not only that, not only does she give her number out to him, she tells all the other middle schoolers who are, of course, closer in range to him. I don't think it would have been that weird, especially if they're in like their last year of middle school, for them to try to talk to Gojo. But instead, you shut them down and go, "Hey, that's inappropriate." But then you go,
"Right,
Gojo, I'm free at 6. Put me through the mattress." Huh?
Put me.
Use your red technique.
Oh
what the fuck?
God.
What the fuck?
I know. I saw that and I was like, she's a predator. Because if a guy did that and Gojo was a girl, all the girls and everything would be like, "Sensei, smacking him and everything. I mean, don't get me wrong, they did the same thing with her and whatever, but it almost kind of made it seem like it was a joke.
Yeah, they put it in a very comedic light, because I think, and this is just like double standards and that exists within anime. Like they put it in a more like, you're trying to fuck the 16-year-old. But if a dude did that, it'd be like
hilarious.
It'd be like, you're trying to fuck a 16-year-old. And don't get me wrong, some anime has, like, anime isn't perfect. Some anime has kind of just like done these type of relationships without any type of condemning on their end. So that's not to say it's perfect, but in this sequence, it's just like, hey, you're trying to holla at Gojo. He's 16. He's 16. That's weird. I know.
It's still weird no matter how you look at it. It's definitely, all the middle schoolers were definitely like, oh my God, Gojo, he's so hot. And he knows he's hot too, because he was like taking off his glasses and doing that. And they're like, Gojo's so full of himself.
Yeah. But besides that, we had some mini fights here and there. We had a fight with the maid. I like the maid character, just from the little that we've seen of her. I think Jujutsu Kaisen does a good job sometimes of incorporating like these mini, I don't want to call them, these subplots or whatever that you're interested in. Because with the maid, what it was with her is that the girl, Rika, was it Rika? Was that her name? I'm looking at the chat.
Rika denies being Gojo's girlfriend. I don't know what that was.
So I guess
don't know that was no, whatever.
So I guess that was her name, Rico. Rico, that's her name, Rico. I looked at the screenshot. So Rico lost her parents to an accident, which is super cliche. Every time there's an accident in anime, both parents die for inexplicable reasons. Her parents die, and then you have a maid who basically takes care of her, and to the point to where she could be considered family. Interesting subplot. Something I've seen a lot before, but doesn't make it less interesting. And she's to the point to where she goes into yandere mode whenever she has to protect her, and then she beats somebody's ass with a mop. When she did that, I said, "Okay, maid, yeah, like you."
She's gonna take that mop handle and shove it where the sun don't shine.
Oh yeah, clean him up, clean his ass up,
clean sweep. Gonna wash that filthy mouth.
It was nice. But she ended up getting captured at the end of the episode, which made me sad.
Oh right, that was at the end. How did that happen?
Based on her being captured and her being in the same vicinity of Geto, I would think that Geto lost to Toji, Megumi's father, because I can't really see anybody else beating him. Because that's another thing that happened in this episode. Geto had his own fight with the old guy, which for some reason that fight was longer than it should have been, but I think they did it for the purpose of showing how strong Geto was. The old guy goes, "Oh, you're using this curse technique. Well, I guess that means that you're not adept at fighting close combat. I'm going to do whatever it takes to fight you hand to hand close combat." You're not prepared.
Yeah. They totally had him like over analyzing everything, and then he did a move, and it's like, you were expecting it? Yeah. And then that was it.
Yeah, he goes close combat, and then Geto just whoops the fuck out of him. He just
yeah. does all that kind of punches here and there, and that was the last we ever saw of that old man.
He did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he beat him to death.
I don't think when you're that age you can handle punches like that. I think it's safe to say he's dead.
Yeah, Geto. See, he became a villain before he even became a villain. He just murdered an old man.
Decrepit Storm says in the chat it was interesting how Rico felt about merging with Tengen. I think it's interesting too because I'll say how she presented it and how I feel about it. She talked about how merging with Tengen would be this experience to where she was going to become one with him, and how basically her personality and her life would live on, leaving behind a legacy. How I interpreted how she was saying that was not at face value. I took it as this is the only way for her to cope with the fact that she's going to die from this ritual, basically, to where she's going to merge with Tengen for the betterment of everybody around the world. Because think of it like Last of Us. Like you've played Last of Us, or at least watched Last of Us. You know how
I've played it.
And this game has been out for a long time, so this isn't like major spoilers.
10 years.
Yeah.
So if you haven't played it in 10 years, come on, what are you doing?
You had the decision with Joel where it's like, do I do this for what could be the betterment of the entire world, or do I do this for my personal feelings, which is Ellie? And he chooses the latter because of his experiences with Ellie. Initially, he would have, of course, chose the former, and I think it may become a similar decision if she gets to have the opportunity to make the same decision. Do I sacrifice my life for the betterment of the world in full, or do I do it for a more selfish reason, which is to keep myself alive? Because I don't think she's actually like, oh yeah, I'm going to merge with Tengen and I'm going to be the same person I was before. I don't think it's going to be like that.
Why?
Yeah. Tengen's going to be like some ooh cute girl.
Come merge with me, Maki or Mako. Ooh woo.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to turn out that way. And maybe it's going to take Gojo, who is a very eccentric character, who's all kind of about himself, to make her realize what her choice would actually mean. Because Gojo is aware that if she merges with Tengen, Tengen is going to be the one that lives on, not her, not Rico.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I think you're right though when it comes to maybe they're gonna come down to a choice, and maybe it's gonna be like a Joel saving Ellie type thing. That is yet to be seen, and it could be something completely unexpected too, like out of left field, like a meteor's coming down and it changed Ghetto. just from the meteor itself. I don't know, but it's probably gonna be something along those lines with the girl.
QRWC says life flashed down before his eyes until he got the beat down. Yeah, he was thinking about his dead dog and everything. He was like, wait, this dog is dead. What am I doing? Oh wait, I'm getting my ass beat. Philip says he's not a villain, he's just a different type of hero. And Decrepit Storm says I think C said something like that, but yeah, it's probably her way of rationalizing it. All the sorcerers will have to take orders from a middle schooler. Yeah, they were doing their best to accommodate her for what they believe to be her final moments as herself. Because although she's not dying, she is being assimilated into another person. So think of it as like Piccolo with Kami. Kami isn't a character anymore in Dragon Ball. We don't think, oh, Kami's still here. We go, oh, that's Piccolo. We don't go, oh, Nail is here. That's Piccolo.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of like how, and this is for the Team 4-star dub, they kept him in the character of Piccolo after they fused. It's like Nail and Nami are still there talking. He's like, dude, shut up. I don't want to hear you talk. Well, you can't get rid of us. We're here now. But I was gonna say, when it comes to Mako living out her best final moments of her life, freaking Geto and Gojo were flinging her around like a freaking rag doll.
Oh my god, they were like Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy when it came to domestic abuse. They were just like tag team each other, like, yeah, let's go give her the old corkscrew, choke slam / Rashiki ass in the face combo. Like, I was like, what the hell? It surprised me with Geto, because Geto, well, I guess it doesn't surprise me in the end of it all, because Geto is a person who appears to be different from Gojo when it comes to like his maturity level. But it's funny that Geto is actually just as what's the word I'm looking for? He's not as mature as he seems, because if you break him down to a point, he will revert to being just like Gojo when it comes to doing childish stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, Gojo, even though this is 12 years ago, he's pretty much exactly the same, except he's more crafted with his moves. Like, he's super strong, and he can be serious. He can put on the serious face when he has to, versus what he is now, where all he is just a disrespectful punk. If this was another genre, he would have a pompadour right now with a kendo stick and, like little wraps wrapped around his stomach, like the typical, punk looking anime character.
Yeah, I think with Gojo, and how you say like how his personality reflects how it is in current day, I think it calls back to what he said, to where basically because Gojo said something to where he talked about following the rules and whatever, and Gojo called him, he said he sounds like a weak person. I think for Gojo, and what maybe even the series is telling you, is that strength is a determining factor in your freedom, which I think even in real life that's sort of true, but in a different way. Not necessarily fighting strength, but I guess like strength might be money, strength might be political power. I guess power would be a better word for different facets. But yeah, that's what it was about for him. He's able to be himself because nobody can truly tell him otherwise. Like, for example, in season 1, when the old guy is trying to, when Gojo is telling him how he's going to handle Yuji, and then the old guy's like, you can't do that. Gojo basically falls back on the point. What are you going to do about it? Nothing.
True.
Can't do anything about it. He's Gojo.
The strongest.
Yeah. You need him. You absolutely need him. So because of that, he has a lot more freedom to act like he wants, which is without restraint, without any restrictions. So yeah. Second episode. I think that's about it in these 2 episodes.
Yeah, I think so. We just ended off with the maid getting captured, and now we gotta rescue the maid.
Yeah. Save my maid, please. She's probably gonna die.
Remember, the anybody that you like ends up dead. I'm sorry to bring up those wounds.
Well, she dead. I'll actually, hoping for death is probably the best thing, because then like the other alternative is she turns into an ugly curse or something.
Oh right.
Yeah, they're gonna do her like they did. What was the guy's name? It starts with a J. Damn it.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. The one who was in the movie theater and got picked on.
Damn it, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, but I know what you're referring to, because that one, when I first saw it, I was not expecting that. I thought he was going to be like a normal character, and then he just fucking dies. right then and there. It's like, holy shit.
Wait.
There you go.
Oh,
Junpei.
Junpei. Okay, Junpei. Cool, Junpei.
Yeah, that was so unexpected. The first time I saw it, it was just one of those, whoa. And it's not every day where anime can surprise me like that, where when you think a character is going to live for a long time and then just out of nowhere, dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the wait. Gojo gets straight to the point, rubbing salt on the wounds, like the curse that wanted to kiss the cute guy and fuck Mahito.
Yeah.
I like Mahito. Of course, he's not in my top 5, but I like the thought of this guy who's just like figuring things out. As far as being a villain, I think a lot of shonens, which you'll see with villains, especially the main villains, are villains who are kind of established in their ideologies and their goals. They know what they want from the outset. Freeze is just a ball of destruction, so he doesn't really have that. You think of like Naruto, Pain, or whatever. He has a distinct thing of wanting to keep world peace through the method of pain. You have Orochimaru, another like chaos merchant who wants to better himself through various jutsus and experimentations. Mahito is a guy who is kind of kid-like. He kind of reminds me of Majin Buu, Fat Buu, where he doesn't know exactly what he wants, but he's figuring out on the go. He's like, well, killing is kind of fun. I'm a curse, so this is kind of the thing that's just inherently within me, just to kill people and be kind of sadistic. But I don't necessarily know exactly what I want. It's a little interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool take. QRW said, I personally hate him. Good villain. I can't see
it well.
Oh, and does it well. Okay, I feel that. But I think we talked about JJK enough. So
we've appeased the masses.
Yeah.
Because now you are a JJK fanatic.
A fanatic?
Yep. Here we go. He's gonna be wearing I Love Nabara. You're gonna have a little figurine in the back. This is my waifu.
Would I get a figurine of anybody at JJK?
Toto?
I mean, if somebody gave me a figurine, I would take it, of course. But would I buy one? Toto, maybe. Nanami, probably.
I mean, we gotta get a body pillow so you can put a hole through it.
Well, it would have to. There's only like 2 of age characters, which is Beimei and
Well, right.
Shoko.
I was referring to the high school ones. But yes. Cool.
All right. So switching gears, we're going to talk about Rurouni Kenshin episode 2 today. So EA, how did you feel about Rurouni Kenshin this episode?
I liked it. I thought it was yet another continuation to the series. We're discussing more not discussing, but we introduced like a young kid character where they were a pickpocket and they're doing it to stay alive and whatever. But overall, I can't really complain. It definitely shows a lot of Kenshin and how he's very much a pacifist, but whenever he fights or whenever he's forced to that position to where he has to fight, he still never kills anybody, but he'll fight if he has to. And I just love how it just showed, I don't know, that lieutenant and everything. It's just like, we're going to fuck you up. And it's like, this dude's going to get messed up. And sure enough, he's just like, okay, I had no beef with you until you started threatening the girl and, the villagers. And then he did what he had to do. And I just overall felt, pretty solid episode. new character. I'm pretty sure is going to become more important later on, and we're furthering down the love story with the girl, whatever her name is. Kaoru,
Kaoru, I believe that's her name. Kaoru, I believe. But and that's that's one of those things to where it's like time period thing because she's 17 and he's 28. I'm not really going to harp on that too much just because of the time period.
No,
so, yeah.
right.
It's the same thing
and
with like Berserk, with Griffith and the princess. I really won't harp on that, honestly.
Right, and I mean, and you look at any cultures during that era, that was normal. That was normal back then. When you became able to bear children, that's when you started marrying. I don't know if there was a certain age, whatever, but that was normal. But yeah, that to me is not anything that's bad. It's a period piece. Now, if this was something like it was a modern day show and then that stuff was happening, then yeah, that would be weird.
Yeah. I think it's just like with the mangaka himself, it kind of makes things a little more awkward.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and it sucks too because it kind of gets connected a lot now too. You know, when you talk of the show, and I was just scrolling through some things just because, and all of a sudden someone was like, fans are, upset about this Rurouni Kenshin. I'm thinking, really? I haven't really heard much about it. Have you?
No.
Yeah, me neither. That's why I'm like, who's mad other than people that are just saying they're mad just to get clicks? I think it's just people that are just going out of their way just to be like, oh, the show and, what the author did and everything. It's like, okay, we get it. The author's a bad person. Focus on the show.
I think
Separate
it was
the medium from the art. Or
I think
person from the art, excuse me.
I think it was more so like the first episode, the initial like airing of the show that made people adverse to it because, of course, we already went through the mangaka's transactions and transgressions. I mean, and I don't blame people for not being able to separate the art from the artist because that is, I feel like you play a hand in enabling things when you support them in especially in a financial way. But I'll just say, I won't say much without saying much, but I'll say I'm not supporting him financially. That's all I'll say on it. That's all I'll say on it. But
he ain't getting a dime from me.
Yeah, he's not getting any money from Sasuke the Savage. Believe me, you. But as far as like the episode goes, I actually really liked this episode, and it made me not only anticipate the next episode, but it sold me more on the show than I thought I was initially going to be sold on it. Cause I didn't think I thought the show would just be like, aight for me. But this second episode did a lot of good world building as far as kind of explaining the world with how swords are prohibited. Only a select few cops have it. It was kind of showing you like how different countries, whatever, who had power, all this type of stuff. So that side of it was good, but the plot with the kid and kind of what became the subplot with Kenshin being somebody who was in the government who kind of relinquished his position because he wanted to be someone who could help people without restriction from the government because of his job or whatever. It was all really good. I thought this episode was really, really good. The animation wasn't that great this time around. I noticed a lot of stills and a lot of, pan shots and stuff like that. But as far as the story went, I was really interested in this episode. I didn't really have any complaints either. It just furthered the story, told more about who the characters were. We got to see more of Kenshin's
Background: introduce the pickpocket. Boy, girl. I think it's a boy.
Yeah, it's a boy, I believe.
Okay. Sometimes you can never tell because we thought Dororo was a boy and she turned out to be a girl.
That is true.
Yeah. So, anyway, this new character, I thought that was kind of telling of Kenshin's character too, where he was just like he was willing to give up his wallet just to give it to some kid who was just like starving.
I like the fact that because him giving up his wallet for a starving kid, that's one thing. He said when he gave him the wallet, he said, "Don't get caught." He didn't say, "Don't do this again." He just said, "Don't get caught."
Right. Basically saying, keep it up.
Yeah. Keep up the good work, kid. I don't know if he did that because he thought that the kid would probably end up in that situation for the rest of his life, or if I guess like the kid believed he was kind of being condescending to him, because the kid just was like, "I want this shit," and just chucked it back at him.
Yeah.
Which I don't know.
Maybe that was the psychological way to get his wallet back.
So he's actually, how do I?
Just using reverse psychology the whole time. He's just like, you know what? I'm going to mess with this kid. I know he's like a prepubescent, so he's, very emotional. He seems emotional. Tell him, don't get caught. And then he threw it back.
I don't even want my wallet. Are you so broke that you can't afford to lose your wallet without getting the money back? Like if he did, oh no. That's a crazy interpretation.
I mean, I kind of thought of it that way, but I was like, is that what he's doing? I don't know, but he got it back.
Yeah, I think it was more so of like the kid said him underestimating him, with thinking that would be his only means of survival. I thought that's what Kenshin thought when he said, just take the wallet. I thought, because we think so fast in all of our interactions. I think what he thought was that, oh, this kid is trying to steal my wallet. Well, he must need the money. Well, if he's stealing my wallet at this tender age, he probably is he's going to have to keep doing this for the rest of his life. So give him the wallet, tell him to just don't get caught next time. And yeah, I think that's what he thought about him. And that's why the kid was so prideful in that moment, gave him, threw the wallet back at him and told him not to underestimate him. So how did you feel about the kid?
Yeah, just a typical annoying little kid. I mean, obviously when you see the part where, he's getting his ass beat by, did they say they were the Yakuza? So they're like gang members.
Yeah.
Like early Yakuza.
He called them Yakuza, yeah.
Yeah, so I get it. He's in a situation to where he has to live on the streets. He's a beggar, trying to make ends meet. You feel bad for people like that. So yeah, I found him annoying at the beginning, but then when I found out that that's what his situation was, like, okay, you understand where it comes from. It's more of a fighting to live situation instead of, and acting tough just because he's probably had to act tough his whole life. So it's sad in a way. You almost kind of feel bad for the kid, and that's probably why Kenshin did that, because he felt bad for him. He didn't see some punk kid. He saw, well, I don't know anything about Kenshin in his past yet, but maybe a little bit of himself, and that's why he did what he did.
Yeah. So I thought what the episode did a good job of, in the little time it had, was that it established the convictions of the kid, because after him seeing Kenshin be able to stand up to these guys who were authority, of course, the police with they had a specific name, but I'll just say the police.
I can't remember.
Yeah, he saw how Kenshin stood up to them and was able to beat them and stand on his own convictions. And that led to him standing on his own convictions, because I think what you saw with him is that he wasn't a bad kid. When the old lady dropped her wallet, and they cut to a different scene. When I seen that scene, I went, he's going to give that wallet back to her, because what he learned from Kenshin was that there are times where you can't bend the knee and you have to fight back to protect what you believe in. And so even though, because why he's stealing the money in the first place, because he's being threatened with his life on the line. And once he basically abandoned that thought that I have to act like this because my life is on the line, he was able to act as he would normally. Gave the wallet back to the grandma, told off the Yakuza guys, and stood on his own too, which is very crazy for a kid to do. So I really like this kid.
Yeah, he was sword playing with a stick, and then he like took that stick and said, "I will defeat all the Yakuza," after he got his ass whooped.
Yeah, that didn't turn out so well with him. Maybe he should do some training.
Right,
chamber.
And maybe he should have just been like, feeling good today. Let me get you a rain check tomorrow. I'll get you then. And then just ran away.
They would have probably kicked his ass regardless, but
true.
I think the whole yelling thing
they would have
at
whooped him worse.
Yeah, I think the whole yelling at them and saying, "I'm not going to pay you, Baka." I don't think that helped them.
No. I think, in fact, I think that made the ass beating that much worse.
The Crypto Storm said the Sword Bearing Police. Yes, that was their name, the Sword Bearing Police, because they had the whole prohibition on the swords. So
Interesting.
I didn't look into it because I'm not a history aficionado. But the way it seems like in the show is that it's not necessarily illegal to carry swords, which maybe that is what they're getting to. The way I look at it is that it's the way that alcohol is looked at currently, to where you're not supposed to be drinking in public, right? So what people came up with way back when in the 80s, 90s, was they put alcohol in paper bag. They
What's
put
that?
it. What? Oh,
what you got there?
Sutter Home. This is wine.
Oh, okay. I see. It looks empty.
Yeah. It wasn't empty when we started.
Continue.
It wasn't empty when we started. Just to let you guys know. So
okay,
there's a little clue. But but that was the whole. It was like this was kind of talked about in the show called The Wire, but it was like a compromise between the police and the common man, to where you put alcohol in a paper bag to where they don't have to enforce a rule that's not really that, it's not really harmful to the public, to where somebody's drinking in public. They're going to do that anyway. They're going to find a way to do that.
Right.
You don't need to enforce that. So the way to keep them from enforcing that rule, that is a rule, but to at the same time for you to stay honest, was put your alcohol in the paper bag. So it gives the illusion that they don't know what's in that. They don't know what they're drinking from. It could be anything. It could be Arizona. It could be a bird. It could be a plane. It could be Superman. But they know what it is.
Heaven forbid.
Yeah, they know what it is. You know what it is, but you conceal it just to get from the technicality. That's the whole thing.
Yeah. And your children don't question it. People aren't just like, "Daddy, what is that person taking that brown bag and keeps doing this with it? What's he drinking?" I just don't worry about it, sweetie. Just keep walking.
Yeah, I think to bring home the point, I think that's applicable to what it is with the sword prohibition, is that open carrying swords is illegal, but as we saw with Kaoru, she still carries a sword, but she has it covered up. And I think it's the same. Same thing that applies to the current standards of open carrying alcohol, where as long as you don't publicly brandish it, we're not going to enforce it. But if you just show that you have a sword, like it, hold on, give me a second.
Get the sword bearing police ready. We're about to see a sword by Mr. Sasuke the Savage. Oh my God! The humanity. Well, he just cut someone in half. I know that. Because that's the whole anime thing. When you cut someone in half, put it back in.
Rest in peace, Jeter. Somebody died.
Is that who you cut in half?
Yeah, somebody died.
I was saying that. Yeah, I was saying that. I was like, he took it out and then put it back in. I'm like, he killed somebody. Because that's an anime. Like, somebody, they're just standing still, then all of a sudden.
Another person died. Yeah, as soon as you sheath the sword, somebody dies. So,
and it's delayed a little bit, but then eventually.
Yep. Oh. I don't know who that killed, but another person died. But yeah, that's the whole thing. Do we have all of
our chat?
Oh, did I? Oh shit! No, the Krampus store! Oh no, he's still alive. I may have killed Light Ruler, which is. But
he's heartbroken about it. You can tell.
But yeah, that's the whole thing with the prohibition law and whatnot. Kenshin just the minute the sword bearing police threatened the people and Kaoru, he wasn't standing for that. Gave them a lot of opportunities to change their mind on it, but this guy was. The minute you see somebody licking their sword, they're probably not people that you can negotiate with, because they got different problems going on in their head.
Right. And he was it him, or maybe I'm thinking of another episode where he just punched his subordinate in the face on top of that too. And he's like, don't tell me what to do. I'm going to beat this person. I'm probably thinking of a different anime.
No, it's the same anime. It's just that they weren't necessarily his subordinates. It was like the regular police and the sword bearing police who.
Right.
So the regular police were like, no, you can't do this, and he was like, bitch, we are sword bearing police. We have authority to do whatever we want. So yeah.
Oh, but yeah, he didn't see it, but man got his ass whooped off screen.
Absolutely, which he deserved it. I don't know how he wasn't the first person to get his ass beat, because we cut to everybody else getting their ass beat and then him last, but it's an anime thing, so
yeah, he wanted to wait till the last person make him last. I'm saving you for last.
I always think about how some of those things go as far as anime. Like, when we think about big parties being beat by one person, because it happens a lot in anime. I think after I see a little bit of what you're capable of, I'm not jumping in that fight anymore. I need focus on the henchmen that just are done with the henchman life. Because if I see you take out 10 henchmen that I know are of the same level of me, I'm not jumping in there like a dumbass thinking I have a chance to take you out. The minute I see you taking out 3 of those, I'm the sword bearing police. The minute I see you taking 3 of them out, I'm going, I can't win. I quit.
I've seen that happen in a couple movies, like Machete. That was probably the best one where I saw it, where freaking Machete comes with a freaking what was it? It was like a lawnmower, a weed whacker, and he attached it with blades and knives so that it was deadly. He saw one guy get taken out, and the other guy, literally inches before he touched him, he just went, I quit. And he dropped his gun and he went the other way. I'm like, that's realistic. That's realistic. We need more of that.
Yeah, for sure. Because there's no way I'm not there's no way I'm looking at that and going, I'll be the next person to take. No.
Right. Unless there's something worse waiting for you if you decide not to do it, then I would understand. But that's one of those, you know what? I think I saved enough in my 401k. I'm going to retire early. Peace out. I'm out later.
It's this guy.
I don't care where I'm going.
It's this guy on YouTube who kind of makes videos similar to that effect about the focus on the henchmen. I'll probably, if you have time, I'll try to show you that if you remind me. I don't know if I ever showed you any of those videos before, but they're pretty funny.
Yeah, I have to check them.
But yeah, we learned about different styles. Everybody's calling out the style they learn from with their swordsman skills and whatnot. This episode really was just establishing Kenshin as a person prior to what we know about him with Kaoru and what he's done then. Him being in the military and being a force to be reckoned with, and him having a past to where he killed people, and seeing how he is a pacifist now, and having this gap in who he is now to where he was before. Because it's like, how did you go from somebody who was killing people for the betterment of the government to being somebody who's free of the government completely and not killing people at all? How did you get from those points? But I think it's just a jadedness or a realization or epiphany or whatever you may call it, to realizing like, me killing all those people didn't amount to, it didn't actually achieve anything. And we'll probably get a a more extensive backstory to why he became that way, but that's what it seems like to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested to see what he has to offer, because so far I'm interested to see what this anime is all about, what his character is.
Yeah. I
want to see maybe a little bit more Kaoru instead of just being, oh, he's so dreamy, I love him. But yeah, other than that, I can't complain. It's pretty much an old school anime with new modern animation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, so good. I think it was a good episode. Like I said, it really got me interested in episode 3. Yeah. Not much to say about it. I'm enjoying this show thus far.
Yes. We could still agree that Kenshin has a weird way of talking, and every once in a while he'll say
that he does.
Yeah, that he does, and then he'll randomly go ORO. Oro?
God.
Is that him trying to be Scooby-Doo? Oro! I'm in trouble.
Oh,
that's his catchphrase. Right before he slices you in half. Oro.
At that point, just kill me. Don't hit me with the back of your sword. Just kill me.
Right. I just lost to somebody trying to be Scooby-Doo and Yoda at the same time. I failed at life.
All right. That is it for Rurouni Kenshin. The next episode, or the next show to talk about, is EA's show, Zom 100, episode 2. Since it's your show, I'll talk about how I feel about it first.
Sure.
Let me make this a little bigger first. EA?
Yes, sir.
You got a hit.
Oh,
you got a hit. This is a pretty great show. This is a pretty great show. I was worried for this episode. This is where my anxiety kicked in, because we talked about it last episode, but it was, what direction are you going to go to with after what you showed from episode 1? Because episode 1 had something very distinct about it that made us pay attention to it. It wasn't the zombie setting necessarily that made us pay attention to it. It wasn't the apocalyptic setting that made us pay attention to it. It was the fact that you had this tone and direction where it seemed like what you were focusing on wasn't necessarily the depravity of humanity or the collapse of society. What you're really focusing on was somebody pursuing their ambitions, their wishes to the utmost because of the setting being a zombie apocalypse, which again, like we said the previous podcast, I don't think we've seen this before. So
yeah,
with episode 2, you did more of the same, and it made me go, okay, you're not going to fall back on the generic zombie apocalypse thing. You're going to be true to what made you interesting. So once I seen this episode, I became more solidified in going, okay, this show is going to be special. It's going to be something that we never seen before.
Yeah. I think this show has the makings to be really, really good, and I'm not afraid to say it. It's definitely going to be a sleeper hit of the summer. When you have, sequel upon sequel upon sequel. This is the only one where it's an original, obviously based off of manga, but it's like a non-sequel anime that is just really, really good. I love how literally in the beginning of this episode, what does our main character want to do, Akira? He wants beer. He had himself a beer, and then he ran out. First world problems. But in a zombie apocalypse, it's a little different. And we had him just biking and just super joyful, just going to the supermarket. The knockoff 7-Eleven, just called 11. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And then we're introduced to this new girl.
I have a nickname
Shizuka?
for her.
What's her name?
That was her name? She had a name?
Apparently, Shizuka. Oh, I guess I spoiled myself. But yeah, it's a Shizuka Mikazuki.
Yeah, I don't think she said her name. I had a nickname for her. I just said, yeah, you ruined everything. Yeah, feel bad.
I sure did.
Feel bad.
I will. Let's see where.
do the walk of do the walk of shame. Oh,
I gotta get naked. No, I'm kidding. I'll keep my clothes on.
Yeah, that's Patreon stuff. We don't do that.
That's extra.
Yeah, but I had a nickname for her. I just called her Jimbe, like Jim, and then Bay.
Oh,
because
right.
She sweats a lot.
I like that.
She's on the treadmill. She's very athletic. So I just that was my nickname for her, Jimbe.
And well, you can still call her that. Don't let my name discourage you. But it's funny too, because in the second half of the episode, we're basically introduced to her character, and she's like the polar opposite of who Akira is, where she's very matter of fact about everything. She's referencing zombie films to see how to live in a zombie apocalypse. She's still trying to keep in, because I guess she has a remote job. She's trying to get in contact with her remote job out in LA, trying to see if they're even around. Girl, just give up. they ain't gonna come by. But all in all, she's just very statistical about everything. She's just very like, I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna get water, I'm gonna get this. She has a camera on her bike so that she can keep lookout to if zombies are gonna come up and sneak up on her. Just the complete and total opposite of Akira, who he did pretty much lead the zombie horde to them. I will admit that, because he was just so carefree and biru.
Gotta kiss my biru.
And he got it. He got his biru, and
nobody to share it with.
Yeah, no. That was such a sad scene where, the husband and wife or girlfriend, boyfriend are just like, oh no, we're gonna die. Oh, I can get you something when I come back. What would you like? I would like some toilet paper. I don't know, they said a few other things, some like important things. He comes back and just blood and just death, and that they're fucking dead. And it's just like, oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
Reality kind of kicks in at that point, and then he's just like, well, I got this 6-pack, might as well fucking drink it.
We got LE in the chat. Lightning
Oh,
Eagles
LE
said, wow, just hopped in and someone is already getting naked. No, we are not getting naked because that cost. That cost.
Yes, and maybe when we get what are they called? Super chats enabled, that might be an option.
I feel like this like against guidelines to promise something like that.
Oh, you know what? Forget what I just said. That was a complete lie. I'm not going to do that. Well, let's see. Where's my soundboard? Does that come through?
Thank you, Mari. Yeah, I heard it. I heard it, so I think they heard it as well.
Okay,
but
well,
Ellie is lurking. So, Decrepit Storm said, "I didn't know what I signed up for, but I won't complain." Yeah, this show is very, like I said, it's very unique. I don't think I've seen the zombie like the fact that they're using the zombie apocalypse to instead focusing on what what I called like the generic parts, where you're focusing on the crumbling of society, you're focusing on like what makes somebody human and the struggles of survival. That some of that stuff is still going to be in there as just the cost of it being an apocalypse. But what it's focusing on is the innate desires that you put off in regular society, dredging up and being you pursuing that because of the state of the world. You talked about how Jinbei and how Tendo have different like values and different ideologies when it comes to approaching the zombie apocalypse. For Jinbei, her focus is on survival itself, maximizing how much days, months, years she can live, which is typical in a zombie apocalypse. That's what it's usually always about. But Tendo is focusing on something different, and that's kind of the reflection of the show itself. He's focusing on what can I do now that I wasn't doing before. I asked out the girl of my dreams. I quit a job that I felt I was trapped in. He talked about wanting to get dreadlocks, which
I heard that.
Yeah, it sounds like a stupid thing, right? But if you live in or if you have a corporate job, think about all the things that you're being prevented from doing simply because of how society is structured and the job you have and how the system is. Something simple as that is getting dreadlocks. It's something he could never do before because of the job he was working. So
yeah,
it's simple stuff like that makes this show so unique and so different. So for that, I really appreciate the show. Again, I hope it stays on this direction, but yeah, we're getting a lot of different and interesting things with Tendo and what he's up to.
Yeah, I think I have a feeling it's going to stay in the same kind of vein of just keeping in that live life to the fullest theme, even in a zombie apocalypse, because Tendo says something that definitely struck me right here, and that was when he began writing his 100 Things to Do in the Zombie Apocalypse before he dies, and that was, I forget exactly how it was said, but he said, you could die today or you can die 60 years from now. There's never enough time in the world to do everything. So live life to the fullest, or something along those lines. And I was just like, damn, that is so true. That is so true, because, the older we get, especially me, I'm 36 now, I'm pushing 40. And there's still some things that I wish I could still do, but I definitely can. I just feel like sometimes there's not enough time in the world. And, I think that's what this show is kind of like basically touching on is, do it now before it's too late, because then when the zombie apocalypse happens, you won't have that chance again. And that was just really cool. And I guess it draws for the parallels too, because he wrote down the book, what things to do before he died. Jinbei had, 100 ways to survive the zombie apocalypse. I love how you were kind of like touching base on the whole surviving versus living type thing. I think it also draws parallels to, once again, real life. There are people that work to survive, and there are people that do things to just have fun and live, so to speak. Not just like live, but just like live and enjoy life. And I just thought that was kind of an interesting contrast, because at the very end, Jinbei was thinking about getting that cupcake, but she didn't want to, because you got to reduce the less sugar, because heaven forbid you get fat and a zombie catches up and bites you. At the end, she says, I should have had that cupcake. And I think that's the whole regret of living with, man, what I could have done versus just living.
And I think that's why this show is so brilliant, because when you have the zombie apocalypse isn't just a setting to be the vehicle to drive home that point or drive home their message and themes of having the characters strive to do what they couldn't do before because of how society was structured. I think it's brilliant because when you think about what are zombies to you? Like, besides like the monstrous, like slow walking, zombies are mindless creatures whose only purpose is survival itself. There's no goals, there's no ambitions, there's nothing but the pursuit of the next human that they can bite, infect, and that's it. That's what zombies are, mindless creatures. And they're paralleling that to humanity itself based on the constructs of society, to where we become zombies because we are burdened with our responsibilities because of, we got to do this job to make this money. We got to do this, to do that, and do this. And we can't do what we actually want because of how things are. I think that's brilliant. I think that's just super smart.
Yeah. I love this show. It has me looking forward to seeing what happens next. I think this was the first episode where we saw both the intro and the ending. There's apparently going to be more characters. That's the one thing that was spoiled. How much did you see the intro and ending?
Yeah, I like both the intro and the ending.
Yeah, they're both really good. How much you want to bet the blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl is going to be from America?
It don't matter where she's from. Just as I said with Miss May May. She's going through that mattress. She's going through that mattress. She is stacked. She is stacked.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, ba-boom, holy. And then there's the other blonde chunk of meat who the ladies will love.
Yeah, he's ripped.
A.
He's ripped.
Yeah.
There's like an 8-pack.
Yeah, you have a ripped dude, a stacked lady, zombie apocalypse, and cool whatever. You can't go wrong. This show's great. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I feel like what they're going to go for with Jinbei and Tendo is that Tendo is somebody who is very they're contrasting sides of each other. Tendo is very what's the word I'm looking for? Very
Carefree?
He has like the innate desires within himself that explode out. Like, oh, I want beer. He goes out and tries to do that.
Like impulsive.
Yeah, impulsive is the word I'm looking for. Very impulsive dude because of how restricted he was inside society before. Jinbei is more pragmatic, more I have to do this to survive, and I think they're going to come together to where Tendo is going to realize that although you still want to do your bucket list or whatever, you have to minimize your risk to some degree so you can achieve those wish lists. Because you can't go, my wish list says I need a girlfriend. Hey, I'm gonna just go out and run out in public view and say, "Hey, who's out there?" You know, he can't do stupid stuff to where he's putting himself at risk, because that's going to also put his the things that he wants to do at risk. At the same time, Jinbei can't be so pragmatic to the point to where she's living for no other purpose than to live, because that's not life itself. Life is, I can't tell you what life is, honestly, but life isn't just purely just surviving. I can tell you that much. So
I think that's for anyone to decide what life is.
Yeah.
But life is worth living, if nothing else.
Yeah. And I think what should be pursued is what you want. Life is what you want. And obviously she has some wants that she's not pursuing because she's focused on the survival bit of it. And you had to take those risks in order to have a fulfilling life. And I think that's where those two come together. So we have a great direction to go into with the show. I don't necessarily think this is the best show yet of the season, but I think it could end up being the best show of the season for sure. It has the potential to beat out even these sequel shows, honestly. It has the potential to beat out JJK, depending on what it does. It has the potential to beat out Mushoku Tensei. It has that potential.
Yeah, it was one of those shows I did not expect to be this good. I had a feeling it would be entertaining. I didn't think it would be one of those that made you think. And to me, if a show can make you think while also being entertained, I think that's a good show. Really good show.
Yeah. Agreed. I think that's I think it's good too that we didn't really like kind of just rehash what happened in the show. I think we had a good conversation about it, so we'll leave it at that. So the next show to talk about,
final show of the night.
Oh yeah, it is the final show. I was making sure. Final show of the night, Mushoku Tensei, episode 2. Where the title of this episode's podcast come from. So I'll talk about this just in case you don't know, EA. A lot of people had issues with this episode.
Yeah, I honestly don't know, because when I saw that thumbnail, I was like, they're cutting out content. To be honest, I wouldn't have known.
Well, I'll say this much. Wait, I gotta move this because it's not like perfectly in line.
It's being bad. Gotta spank.
Me and EA don't read the light novel for the series. Me and EA don't read the manga for the series. So when I talk about, we don't read at all. We don't even know we don't even know what Decrepit Storm just said in the chat. I don't know. I think bomb with Mu 10 CA. But yeah, I think that's what he said. But we don't know anything beyond what the anime shows us with this show.
Mm-hmm.
I was aware of the issues that light novel readers had because of what I saw on Twitter. I've seen a lot of noise about it skipping certain things and whatnot. And I'll tell you this much, because I don't really let what light novels readers say about an episode affect my enjoyment of it. I will say, me personally, I felt that there was some content cut. I felt it. And that's an issue if you're anime only. I felt it. I don't know if you felt the same. I don't think you felt the same, EA, based on what you've been saying. But
I mean, now that you say it, the only thing that I would even possibly think would be content that would be cut out is 1 minute. What's her name? Sarah?
Sarah, yes.
1 minute Sarah hates Rudy. The next minute she loves him. And I thought that was because Rudy saved her and maybe that was something that, okay, yeah, she has a newfound, but it just seems really fast to me. So now that you say that and bring that up, that would be the only thing that I would say where it feels like there was some content taken out, because it seems too fast for her to just be like, "Oh, Rudy, you're a good friend now," because this person saved her how many times, and she still put on the whole Cinderella act.
Yeah.
But this one time, now all of a sudden she's okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is a little different because that one guy died, and she got captured by a tree and was being groped by a tree. So I mean, it does kind of add a little bit more, but still, I feel like it was like instantaneous and too fast. That to me is the content that was taken out. I don't know about what your perspective was, but that was me.
QRW6 says it's time for the main event. The Decrepit Storms had problems with Mutensei. Okay, I'm trying not to use words. QRW6 says light novel readers would be the problem with this anime. People complain about the Goblin Slayer side story, but we got it in an OVA. And Shark the Plus says how he got the nickname Quagmire, where that come from. QRW6 says, yeah,
that could be something that was skipped. I was thinking of that too when I heard Quagmire. I was thinking of giggity.
He is a little bit like Quagmire. He still has the panty, so he's not meeting those allegations. So. Yeah. But QRW6 says, but I do hope they're not trying to rush the pace to the certain plot line. Crypto Storm says, honestly, I didn't notice anything wrong with this episode at first, but after listening to what people are saying, there are some things that seem off. So I'll say what I personally feel, because even though I saw what people complaining, I didn't like look at key details of what people were complaining about. What I saw that was an issue is that first and foremost, this whole plot line between Sarah and Rudius just felt rushed.
Yeah.
When she gave that thank you thing and they gave their farewell speech to each other, Counter, whatever their name was, like her Gil and Rudius, it just felt off. It just felt like, wait, we just saw y'all in the first episode, and now y'all are giving this farewell speech as if we known y'all for a long period of time.
Right. It's like so sentimental, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah, it was like we only got you guys for a couple of not a couple of episodes, for a couple of minutes. You guys didn't have that much impact for us to really feel for you guys' departure from Rudius. It's going to be another blimp on our radar. We're not really going to remember you guys. So that felt a little off to me. But what especially felt off to me was the fight between Rudius and the other guy from the other guild, the leader of the other guild, the badass sword guy. That conversation they had when he was drunk and he was going off on Rudius, that felt completely out of left field, because for me, they showed in the beginning of the episode that there was some animosity with how everybody was treating Rudy. They just gave him like dirty glances and whatnot. And I looked at it like, where's that coming from? Why do they hate Rudius? And then he goes on his drunken rant or whatever, and he talks about how Rudy is always like fake humble, always smiling condescendingly, and how he acts like he has it better than everybody. And I'm like, where did this come from? What, like there's this explosion, but we see no chemical reaction. I have no idea how this got cooking, but it explodes out of nowhere. And what it leads to is that Rudy realizes that because like last episode he kind of got the will to live, and in this episode he kind of got he's kind of stopped feeling sorry for himself. That's what you got in this episode. But again, there was not much in between that for me to really feel this argument. This guy's a random. This guy's been in Mushoku Tensei for 5 minutes. Him having this explosion on Rudy doesn't have impact. It's weird.
Right. And I chalked it up as to this guy's just one of those drunks that just gets really bad and really emotional when he gets drunk. But yeah, when you say it like that, it definitely seems like he knew Rudy for a while and saw him and studied him and kind of like kept glances with him. It's like, you always seem so humble. You sitting there thinking you're better than us. You just saw him like one time. How do you freaking know that? So I agree with you. I felt like that was very weird way to interpret it. Now, if this was episode, I don't know, 8, and we saw this character, he was constantly in it, and Rudy showed signs of doing all that stuff, then I would say that's warranted. I would say, okay, I see where he's coming from. But after one episode, 5 minutes, like you said, where we barely see the guy, he's just going after him just like, you think you're hot shit. You sitting over there with that smug look on your face. I'm just sitting right here. I'm trying to eat my food. What did I do?
Where did this come from? Like, why are you yelling at this 14-year-old kid?
Right. And that definitely feels out of left field. Like, you know, the more I talk about this, the more I'm starting to go, okay, this definitely feels like there was some content cut out, because I felt it was weird too. I just, now actually discussing the episode itself, I'm like, okay, yeah, there was a lot more than I thought there originally was. So yeah, I have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, it's just like, because you can't really call the episode itself bad, but it felt like there were missing parts to get to where we were, because the resolution of again, Rudy is, you know, probably him not feeling sorry for himself anymore, because I think with him not being able to find his mother for all this time, I think he felt a certain amount of just depression. He got out of the funk to where he wasn't suicidal anymore, but he still felt that the world was against him or whatever, and he was kind of coping with it by being overcompensating, by being overly polite, always doing the anime smile. You know, you got to do eyes closed like this for the anime smile. I can't imagine if someone did an anime smile in real life. Anime is so funny because when you think about it in a realistic setting, none of this stuff would fly. Like how people talk in turns, or how people do the dramatic thing. Like I think Sarah tried to do in this episode where she tried to grab Rudy's arm before he left. Like a lot of the stuff would be stupid in real life.
Freaking Rudy he did save Sarah and then just grabbed her boob and everything and was just like, oop, my bad.
Yeah. That moment made me go, ugh. But honestly, Mushoku Tensei this season has been better as far as how the pervy stuff would draw. Like if this was season 1, that scene would have lasted maybe 3
like 5
entire minutes. Like, yeah, it was but it was kind of like it happened. Rudy didn't really harp on it. She had her baka hentai moment, and then it was kind of it. I was like, okay,
yeah.
I don't really like the moment itself, but it didn't overstay its welcome. I'm all right with this.
Right. And I feel like that was the problem in season 1, is that they just constantly kept showing how much of a perv he was and lingered on it. It's like, great, whatever, I don't care. But then this one was just like, oops, my bad, and then just 2 seconds later gone. And I'm like, that's how it should normally be.
Yeah.
You know, instead of Rudy having an inner dialogue going, these boobs feel so soft between my fingertips. Yeah.
Cotton candy in my hands.
It is so sweet, and she makes a blushy red face. Yeah, it's just get out of here, Rudy.
if that is cut content from the light novel, I think we'll be all right with that.
Right. If they cut that stuff out, that's fine.
But Yeah, it felt like something glaring was missing with this episode as far as the development between Rudy and some of the characters, specifically Sarah. And I think you were right, EA, with what you were saying with Sarah the first podcast, with you thinking that it was going to be an extension of Rudy's harem with Roxy and Eris and Sylphie. You talked about Sarah possibly being in that, and I was like, no way, because she's so much like Eris. After this episode, it looks like they're going to put her in the harem too.
Yeah. What can you do?
I just don't like it because, again, she's too similar to Eris for me to like. I don't like the harem thing with Rudy in the first place. But if you're going to do it, at least make more unique personalities, because so far Sarah just felt like a worse version of Eris, like an Eris in which we didn't see the progression of her character. Because I won't say like Sarah has never been as bad as Eris was, because Eris was insufferable when we first saw her. She's never been as bad. But also, what is true about her is that she's never had the proper progression that Eris had that made us like her character, that made you like her character, because you talk about that.
Yeah.
She doesn't have that. It was kind of like Sarah was asshole, Eris kind of character. This episode, she's kind of better asshole Eris character. But we didn't see no development for us to get to those 2 points, so we don't really care too much. So if she is in this harem thing of with Rudy, not that I don't like it in the first place, but you don't make her an interesting person enough for me to even want to attempt to ship her with Rudy. So
yeah.
That's it with Sarah. Mushoku Tensei, Philip says in the chat, Mushoku Tensei need the 3 months later more often. So you know time has passed. Yeah, I think they said, did they specify 3 months later, or did they just say months later when the episode started?
I think they might have just said months later. I'm not too sure.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure either, but yeah, this episode was Rudy basically getting over the big flaw in his character, which was the him feeling sorry for himself, and also because I don't think this episode properly addresses this, because we talk about how Rudy has like these suicidal tendencies, and in which with this episode, with last episode, it was more he was taking more initiative with that. He was blatantly going, I'm not gonna move so that this beast can kill me. This episode, it was more like, I'm not gonna have any regard for my life. I don't think that was properly addressed this episode. It felt like at the end of the episode, we wrapped everything up with a pretty bow, and then Rudy changed for the better. But I don't think that flaw in Rudy's character was actually resolved, because his lack of hesitance with helping Sarah with no backup is an indication that he didn't really change, because he basically said, oh, Sarah's in a blizzard in which it made all of you guys flee and one of you guys died. I'll do this by myself. So
yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't, like, that's not an indication to me that you actually learn anything from this endeavor, which was you need to take care of yourself better. He hasn't learned that really in this episode. So I don't know. I don't know. It felt like in the light novel or manga, just some chapters were skipped for us to get to this point.
Yeah, and it was just a weird way to just compile and put everything together. It's like maybe maybe if they would have like fine-tuned that and like fixed it up a bit, maybe it wouldn't have been so weird. But yeah, it definitely kind of feels like there's some things missing. And if this is going to be the whole season, that's going to be a little weird.
The Crypto Storm said at least they included Rudy's names for the body parts. Yeah, he was like Hercules, Kratos. He did that. Yeah. QW6 said, I just hope it's OVA material, but it's too soon to rush it. The Crypto Storm says, I guess we couldn't keep people happy by buying them drinks forever. Yeah, just spam the drink. Like everything goes bad. You're about to get in a fight with some guy. You go, it's on me. Drinks on me. Hey!
Yeah, that's what makes everything feel better. All right, Rudy, you piece of shit, always thinking people are better, all that stuff. Oh, drinks on me.
It's like in you watched the Boondocks. It's like when Riley throws a chair in the middle of a crowd. Like it's just like some mindless action that gets everybody to pay attention and distract them. Just, I got the money for all the drinks. Whoa! Forget that thing I was angry about.
I love when he threw the chair. Everybody would just like stood there for a bit, and they're like, yes, and then they just start fighting each other.
Genius show. Phyllis says we might get the reason why Sarah hates the gray rats next episode. She hates the gray rats? I don't even remember that.
That's news to me.
I don't even remember that. I feel like you spoiled us, Philip. Did you? Philip, I'm looking into the camera. I'm speaking to the mic. Did you just spoil us? Philip, did you just spoil us? I don't know. I just don't remember it. A Sony C47 said this episode show Rudy helping others adventures so they spread their name. So hopefully his mother can find them. That was also so yeah, the main purpose of him in the beginning was to spread his name through selfless actions to get his name ringing out in different cities so that it would give him a better chance to find his mother. So yeah. QW6 said it's like the studio wants to mess up their bag and they better not. Crypto Storm says it also feels like they tried to do way too many things and go too many places in one episode. I agree. Felt like they had their hands full. But Philip said not yet. What the the Crypto Storm said he has a sword. I can't see that because the emoji.
It says run. Like he has a sword. Run.
Oh, okay. That emoji thing, it blocks me on OBS. But
yeah, that emoji thing is a pain.
Yeah. Is there anything else that we have to say about this episode?
Not really. We kind of went through it really quick, but there wasn't, even though it was a lot, there wasn't like a whole lot that happened in the episode.
No,
it's all just kind of really slow.
Yeah. Rudy goes to save Sarah. We get a little fan service moment of, Baka, you're looking at my boobies while you heal me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess the only thing to talk about is that it was that weird moment where Rudy says that there's something wrong with her leg and it seemed like she wasn't fessing up to it. I don't know if that's going to be a lingering thing considering what we ended up in the episode with these guys just leaving. So I don't know if that's going to be a thing, but
yeah,
I mean, that's really all there is to talk about. Yeah. Oh, that one guy died in their adventure, their party, and they kind of just dealt with it.
He will be missed. Well, let's just dig up his body.
I don't know if that's an indication of them not caring for the dude or them. I feel like it's a mixture of both. Not saying they don't care about the dude, but I feel like they don't care about the dude as necessarily like Sarah would care for Suzanne, for example. I think they the world is, or what they're showing us with Mushoku Tensei is with the adventure life specifically. Everybody is already prepared for a death like that to happen suddenly, because a lot of these people just kind of get together for what their capabilities are, not necessarily because they think everybody's strong. Just like, oh, you work well with us because you have this. We don't have this in our party. So it's kind of just like this amalgamation of talents rather than a family necessarily. So I think when he died, it was kind of like, well, there's other guys to be had to replace his talents. Kind of like the workforce.
He will be missed.
Yeah.
Well, let's push his body down the grinder.
Use his body for fossil fuel.
Yep. Getting a little cold outside.
Sony said common people have one word name only. Common people have one word name only. Rudy have a family name show that is a noble. Common folk just like that. Oh, I get. Okay, so you're talking about the gray rat name. I understand what you're saying now. Got you. So you're saying like the regular people don't like the fact that he has the last name Gray Rat, so that's why he does the Quagmire thing. But I don't think the episode conveyed that well at all, if that's what they were going for. Honestly,
absolutely not. When I heard the name Quagmire, I'm like, okay, his name is Quagmire all of a sudden.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yeah. So if that was something that was that you're privy towards as a light novel reader, I don't think the anime itself conveyed that well at all. Like at all. That didn't even cross my mind at all. But yeah, I think that's all we have to say about Mushoku Tensei. So yeah. Outro stuff. EA, where can they find you?
You can find me over at Everything Animated, my channel, Everything Animated. I'm supposed to be doing something with, I don't know, Rent a Girlfriend. I might do something. I also recently bought a game on the Steam game sale, a little game called Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. That might be coming up sooner rather than later. I just gotta get OBS set up to my face in the game and all that other fun stuff. So yeah, follow me on Twitch. I know I haven't done Twitch in a while, but check it out. Give me the Twitch is there, Everything Animated. I Twitters, both mine and the King of Anime podcast Twitter, and our Patreon, because you love us.
Yes. Check out our Patreon.
I'll drop the links in the bottom.
Yeah, link will be in the chat. Link will probably be in the description as well once things are said. But yeah, definitely check out Everything Animated on his YouTube, his Twitch especially. Danganronpa streams, I'm super excited for myself. Whenever he does that, I'll try to tap in and be locked in there for that. It'll be his first experience for that, so that'll be a fun time, I'm pretty sure. But as for myself, you can find me on my main channel, Sasuke the Savage, where I don't be posting like that, but I have some things planned with Insomniacs after school. Big project I've been planning for a long time with Yumiko Jabami from Kakaguri. Some other things, I'm probably going to revitalize my Satsuki the Reactor channel. Maybe. We'll see. And then, of course, my Twitch, where I'm the most active, Satsuki the Savage with a DA. Same name as my Twitter username, where I play... what am I playing now? Rain Code, Persona 5, Goddess of Victory, Nikkei, as well as Ace Attorney, Justice for All right now. And I'm pretty sure some other games, 2K occasionally. But that is all we had to say about these shows tonight, guys. Appreciate everybody who showed up, who gave their input and even the people who lurked. Have a good night, y'all. Peace, love, from wherever you are. Good night, good morning. We out. Johnny.
Later.